Okay, the next chapter is coordination. So, to clearly understand what coordination is, we need to go with live examples. Some of the examples you might have experienced in your daily life. In simple terminology, coordination means there should be some control and coordination which has to occur in our body so as to lead our life. That means all the life process that occur inside our body has to coordinate with each other. For example, you might have seen in your daily life that when you are crossing a street, crossing a main road, street means main road, then your eyes, hands and legs has to coordinate with each other. Eyes, when you will be seeing with your eyes whether vehicles are coming or not, and that will pass the information to your brain. Immediately the brain will pass the information to the legs to start walking, start crossing the road. And if your eyes see some vehicle coming in front of you or coming from sideways, your eyes will pass the information to your brain to stop there, so as to pass the vehicle or make the vehicle to stop. That means your hands, legs as well as eyes, brain, these are in coordination with each other, and it is helping you not to meet with an accident. If they are not in coordination with each other, then you are going to meet with an accident. So there are some of the actions which will be taken place in your daily life which are voluntary and involuntary. We will cover about this voluntary and involuntary actions in the next class, further coming classes. So, and further to explain this coordination, let me take two examples which you might be seeing in your televisions. Live matches of cricket or else football. For example, if you take a cricket match, then there should be coordination between all the players who are present in the team. That is called team coordination. 11 members who are playing in the team, they have to coordinate with the captain. Captain gives instructions to the players and they have to follow the instructions and they have to coordinate with one each other. For example, you take the Indian cricket team which is playing right now against West Indies. So now, if the bowler wants to open the innings, then it indicates that there is no coordination between the captain and the players. If, for example, a batsman, some ex-batsman, for example, a opener right now, by name Rohit Sharma, if he wants to open the bowling attack first, then what happens? It shows that he doesn't have coordination with the bowlers. If, for example, a bowler has bowled a ball and opposite batsman has hit the ball in the air, and the other fielder, who is no other concern with the bowler, he is having any grudge or he is having any some grudge on that bowler. If he doesn't want to catch that one, then it indicates that there is no coordination between the team members. So, for a team to win the cricket match or any match, then there should be coordination between the team players. All the players who are present in the team, cricket team or whatever. If you take the second example as football, football will be consisting of different players who will be playing their own role. For example, goalkeeper will be there, defender, mid player, forward. A goalkeeper, his duty is to stop the ball which is being kicked by the opposite team. If the goalkeeper wants himself to make the goal to post the goal into the opposite direction, is it possible? No, it is not possible. He has to pass the ball first to defender. Defender has to pass the ball to midfielder. Midfielder has to pass the ball to forward person. This forward person, his activity is to make the goal. So instead of this, if the ball is not being passed from defender to midfielder or any of the other person, if he himself wants to make the goal, is it possible? No, it is not possible. That means there should be coordination between these team members to pass the ball from one place to another place so as to win the game. So there is coordination between the team players who are playing in the football match. Similarly, there is coordination between the different organs that are present in our body. We are taking in oxygen through the lungs. That oxygen is being passed to several organs which are present in our body, several tissues, several cells. Blood plays a major role in transporting the oxygen from one part, that is lungs, to various body parts. If the blood, that is hemoglobin, disagree means it is not willing to pass the oxygen. Then what happens? It leads in death of the cell. Ultimately, it leads into the death of the body or organism. So digested food, digestive system, that is stomach, it is there to perform digestion. It requires some enzymes just like bile juice, intestinal juice, etc. Juices are required. Pancreas will release pancreatic juice. So all these juices are released by different organs and they are going to act on the food material which is present in the stomach. So if the any of the organ fails, then it is going to not supply the concerned juices, that is what we call enzymes. So in that case the person dies. That means it knows where to go and where to act. Those enzymes know where to go and where to act. So this helps the body to perform its own activities. That means after performing the digestion, the digested food material has to be supplied to the cells. They have to be burnt in presence of oxygen and energy has to be released. Energy will be stored in the form of ATP and rest over material will be forming as nitrogenous waste, will be removed through the kidneys. So this is entire metabolic activities will be under the control of one system, that is brain. Okay, those are involuntary actions. It is not under the control of your brain. That means all the internal organs which they are performing their own duty, they are involuntary actions. Now, first example I told you, when you are crossing a street, that is voluntary action. That is under the control of your brain. Internally, there are some organs which are doing its own duty without the control of your brain. So that is involuntary action. Those are the examples for involuntary actions. Okay. Now there are some other examples, just like responding to stimuli. Whenever we apply some stimulus, then immediately we will give some response. For example, there are some examples, just like if you are growing a tree or a plant inside your house, the leaves will try to move towards the light. Just like example, money plant you will be growing inside your houses. Whatever the inner part of your house you grow, it tries to grow towards the light. It tries to come out of the window. It tries to come out of the door. After few months, if you clearly observe, that is giving response to the stimuli. That means it wants some light. Light is the stimulus. It is growing towards the light. That is called response. Response given towards the light. Okay. Now, rats. For example, there is a rat. If it sees a cat, immediately runs away from that place. So, seeing a rat is a stimuli. Giving response means moving away from the place is response. Now, when you are walking on a street, then if you suddenly put your leg with barefooted on a thorn, then you immediately withdraw your leg. Stimuli is that one. Taking out your barefoot is known as response. Giving response accordingly. Accordingly, you are going to give response. If you are putting your barefoot on the thorn, are you going to remove your hand? No, you are not going to remove your hand. You are going to remove your leg. Where the thorn has pricked your barefoot, you are going to remove that leg. So that is known as giving response to the stimuli. Stimuli means the thorn has given some stimuli to your foot and you are releasing it from that place. That means you are removing from that place. This is known as giving response to that stimuli. Okay. Now, when you are feeling hungry, your body will suggest some information, passes on the information to the brain that you are feeling some hungry. Then immediately you start thinking about the food material, and you start if the food is available, then you are going to eat it. If the same stimuli is put for longer time, then it is automatically going to suppress that stimuli. For example, if you won't eat for 1 hour or 2 hours, automatically after 2 hours you can observe that your hunger gets defeated. Your hunger gets suppressed because over applying of stimuli for a longer period of time will suppress the stimuli. Okay, so these are some of the examples for control and coordination. That means there is some coordination between your body parts. There is some coordination. Without coordination, you cannot live your life. in your daily life or as well as in wherever it may be. Now, first of all, we have to know that what is controlling this one. The entire body in our entire body parts or organs which are present in our body are under the control of our brain. Just you can compare this brain to your human body to that of a computer system or a laptop. There will be CPU, which you already know. CPU is known to be brain of the computer. It is going to, whenever you press a keys on the keyboard, then it is going to appear on the monitor. For that information to appear on the monitor, the keyboard is received, the information pressed by you on the keyboard will be received by CPU, and it is going to pass the information to the monitor. Then it will be appearing on the monitor. Is it clear? That means you are putting stimuli through the keyboard. It is passing the information to the CPU, which is brain. Brain is passing the information where it requires action. Action means it is reporting on the screen. That screen we are seeing it. So you can compare your same stimuli and everything to your brain. That means if I want to write something, I am giving the passing the information. My brain is passing the information to the hand to pick a chalk piece and to turn this side and to write something on the board. Everything is under the control of my brain. This is voluntary action. Okay. So this is the introduction regarding your control and coordination. There are several examples which you can study in your class. For example, I can make something. Do an experiment. Simply, a first person has to hold a scale. For example, think this to be a scale, and the second person has to give some space. Like this. Okay, and ask the first person. This is the left hand. My left hand, whoever is catching the bottle or scale is said to be the first person, and who is the downwards hand, which is there here ready to catch the bottle, is the second person's hand. Whenever supposedly after few minutes, 1 minute is passed, second minute is passed, third minute is passed, fourth minute is passed, fifth minute is passed, then suddenly if you are going to remove it, then automatically that person whose hand is there below will catch that particle, whatever it may be. Either it may be bottle or a scale. You can try this with two persons. You just look into their eyes. Don't close your eyes. If you close your eyes, no one knows how it is going to fall out. Just look into your eyes, look into each other's eyes, and try to do that experiment. That is, holding the scale by one person, and you have to leave the gap between the scale. Then you try to look into the eyes of that person who is holding and into each other, and suddenly after few minutes, without the knowledge of the other person, leave it. Then the second person will catch it automatically. Because he will be having the tendency not to make that scale to fall down, and you try to record the centimeters where it has been caught, where it was there first, at what point of time, and at what point of time he has caught it. So that will clearly explain about your some involuntary action. Voluntary action is being performed by first person to lose the bottle or to lose the scale. Second person, involuntary, without the knowledge of his brain, he caught it. Okay. For example, when you are moving, suddenly if you see a fire, not seeing a fire, automatically if you start going to step on a coal which has caught with fire, then what will you do? You are going to remove your leg. Until and unless you start, if your brain stops, that means, will you wait for the brain to pass the information to leg to remove your leg? No, you are not going to wait for that amount of time. Automatically you are going to remove the leg. Where from those information is coming? The involuntary action information will be coming from the spinal cord. Automatically they will be coming from the spinal cord. The information will not be passed to the brain. Spinal cord will also have some nerves or neurons which will pass information to the voluntary organs, that is legs and hands, muscles, to move accordingly as per the stimulus put by the external structure. Is it clear? So now, first of all, this was being observed by Galen, a scientist by name Galen. Before 18th century, no one was knowing about how the brain is working or whether nervous system is present or not. No one knows about brain. Galen was the first person to observe, to study about the nervous system, brain, and how the movement of muscles are taking place. He was a physiologist. A patient, a friend of him, met with an accident, and that person met with an accident came with an injured portion on his neck region. And he went to the physiologist, a doctor by name Galen. Then what he observed is that person who has met with an accident lost the sensation of touch in some portions of the body. But he observed that when he asked to move the hand and to pick a bottle, he picked the bottle. With this, he came to a conclusion that there will be two types of nerves. One for action and one for reaction, one for taking the stimuli. One for taking the stimuli and one for reaction. That means action will be performed by one nerve, whereas there will be two types of nerves. He came to a conclusion that there will be two types of nerves. Sensation, which will be making you to feel, will be one first type of nerve, and movement of muscles will be occurring by second type of nerve. Those are simply called as sensory nerves and motor nerves, or sensory neurons and motor neurons. Sensory neurons will receive the information from the body part, that means from your sense organs. When you are walking on a street, if you pass by a nala or if you pass by a garbage bin, the smell of that will be unbearable. Most 99.99% of the people who smell that one will try to avoid that smell by keeping their hand over that one, over your mouth or nose, or with a kerchief or anything. That means you try to avoid that smell being entering into your body. If you are passing by a bakery, confectionery or a bakery, the smell will be very sweet enough, so that you will love to have the smell more to be consumed by your sense organs. That means that is passing the information being passed to the brain by your sensory nerves. They are taking the input. They are taking the input from external sources, and those nerves which are passing the information to the brain are called sensory nerves. And reaction which you are giving, that means closing your nose with the help of a kerchief or your hand when you are seeing a garbage or nala, that is reaction. That is motor nerve. Motor nerve is passing the information from the brain to your hand to close it or to take a kerchief and to tie it. Or when you are passing through the confectionery, that is bakery, if it is smelling sweet enough, then you will try to smell more, and your brain will be passing your information to stop at that place and to have fun of that smell. Clear? So this is the examples that sensory nerves and motor nerves are different. That means receiving information will be done by one part of nerve, and action will be performed by second type. This was being observed by Galen, the first person. Before 18th century it was not known. After 18th century, several physiologists have thought about this one by the information given by Galen, and lots of things have been worked out, and now we are in this computer world where we know not everything, but most of the thing we have come discovered, and we know how the brain is working and what is everything, how the brain works and everything. But we don't know one thing we did not invent till now is how the dreams occur and why they occur. How the dreams occur and why they occur, why that part of the dream will come to our brain thought. And mostly we will be sleeping for 6 to 8 hours or maximum 10 hours in a day. And during that time, we can remember only some portion of our dream. That is either 1 minute or 2 minutes of the dream will be remembered, and that will be stuck in your brain only for that long, during the day, or during half an hour, 1 hour, or during the day. Afterwards, when you indulge in regular work or routine work, you will forget about that one. After few days, 4 days or 5 days, you cannot remember what happened previously and what occurred in your previous dream. So most we know the structure of brain, we know how it works, how it is going to do perform, but till now we did not invent why the dreams occur, how they occur, and everything. In the next topic we are going to study